Captain Elias Hart adjusted the straps of his spacesuit, the familiar weight pressing against his shoulders. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the observation window of the human frigate Aegis, glittering like scattered diamonds across the black velvet of space. Elias had seen this view hundreds of times, but tonight it felt different, uneasy, tense. Something in the distant star system of Lyra 9 whispered danger, and Elias could feel it in his bones. "Captain, sensors are picking up unusual energy readings from the third planet," reported Lieutenant Mara Chen, her voice steady but tight. "It's unlike anything we've scanned before." Elias leaned over the console, eyes narrowing. The readings were massive, an enormous energy spike in a remote region of the planet. It wasn't just heat or radiation. It was biological, alien, alive. Cytherians, he muttered under his breath. The name still carried a weight, though few humans had actually seen one. A rumored race of warriors and hive builders. The Cytherians were a mystery, feared more than understood. "Prepare the recon team," he ordered. "We need eyes on the ground. We'll go in light, no heavy weapons. This is reconnaissance, not a battle." By the time the small shuttle dropped through Lyra 9's thin atmosphere, the sun was setting, casting long, twisted shadows across a terrain of jagged rocks and bioluminescent forests. Elias's team, 3 soldiers and an engineer, exited cautiously, weapons drawn but unraised. The air smelled faintly metallic, and every rustle in the glowing undergrowth set Elias's nerves on edge. "Keep it tight," he whispered. "We don't know what's waiting for us out here." They advanced slowly, scanning the dense forest. The trees pulsed with soft light, almost like they were alive. Elias felt a chill as the readings grew stronger. "They were close, Captain." "Look at this," said the engineer Ryan, pointing to a clearing ahead. In the center of it rose a massive structure, a hive unlike anything human engineering could create. It spiraled like a twisted cathedral of bone and crystal, glowing faintly with its own internal energy. Elias felt a knot tighten in his stomach. "Cytherian hive," he said quietly. "That's no rumor. It's real." As they approached, a low hum filled the air. The energy readings spiked. Elias took a cautious step forward, eyes scanning the edges of the clearing. That's when he saw it. She emerged from the hive, a towering figure, graceful yet terrifying. The Cytherian queen. Her body shimmered like liquid crystal, her limbs long and elegant, ending in sharp, almost ethereal points. Her eyes glowed faintly, piercing into Elias as if she could read his thoughts. "Stay back," Elias commanded, raising his weapon. But the queen did not move aggressively. She simply watched, her presence overwhelming, her aura pressing against his mind. Suddenly, his helmet's sensors screamed. He wasn't seeing a normal alien reaction. She was trying to communicate. Telepathically. Images, feelings, memories flashed into his mind, confusing him. He staggered, dropping his rifle. "Captain," Mara called out. I can't," Elias whispered, voice trembling. His body felt light, almost like it wasn't his own. The queen's thoughts invaded his mind, showing him visions of the hive, of her people, of something growing inside her, a new life, a child that was not yet born. Before he could comprehend it, the queen extended a limb, touching him. Pain shot through him, but also warmth. The connection was instantaneous, overwhelming. He felt bonded. A part of him merged with her thoughts, with the life she carried. "Get him out of there," shouted Mara, firing a warning shot. But the queen did not flinch. Instead, she tilted her head as if curious, almost playful. Then the bond ended. Elias collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. His suit monitors went haywire, and his heart raced uncontrollably. When he looked up, the queen had already disappeared back into her hive, leaving only silence. What just happened?" Ryan asked, kneeling beside him. I think I'm linked," Elias said, struggling to find words. The queen. I don't know. Something happened. Something I didn't agree to, and now," his voice faltered. His mind was a storm of alien impressions. Visions of the hive, the queen's thoughts, and something more terrifying. The sense that he had fathered a child. The team managed to get him back to the shuttle. Elias's body was trembling as the engines lifted them off the planet. He clutched his helmet to his chest, feeling the strange pulse in his veins, the inexplicable bond that connected him to the alien queen and her unborn child. "Captain, you're shaking," Mara said, concern evident. "Are you hurt?" Elias shook his head. No, it's in my head. Something she did. I don't know what. He broke off, staring at the stars outside. I think I fathered a child. The shuttle's cabin was silent for a moment. Then Rian said cautiously, Fathered a... What? That's impossible. I didn't intend it, Elias admitted. It wasn't even physical. But the connection, it was real. I could feel it. Something hybrid, something alive, growing, and it's part of me. Back on the Aegis, the human military hierarchy dismissed his claims. Captain Hart, your readings indicate psychological stress, the commander said flatly. We don't engage in fairy tales about alien queens. Report your reconnaissance findings. End of discussion. But Elias couldn't shake the images, the warmth, the tiny pulses that echoed in his mind. He knew what had happened was real. Something had changed inside him. Something that connected him irrevocably to the alien species he had only just begun to understand. That night, Elias lay in his quarters staring at the ceiling, the psychic connection refusing to fade. The visions came again, flashes of the hive, of the queen's eyes, of a life that depended on him. And with it, a strange protective feeling. He knew, without question, that he had accidentally entered into something far larger than himself. A story that could either unite two civilizations or destroy them. He made a silent promise. I will protect it, he whispered. Whatever it is, whatever it becomes, I will not let it die. Outside, the stars blinked indifferently, unaware that a single human soldier had already changed the course of history. Captain Elias Hart could not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, the visions returned. Fractured glimpses of the Zetherian queen, her hive, and the child growing inside her. Unlike the first overwhelming psychic surge, these visions were quieter now, more intimate, almost personal. They whispered to him, asking him to understand, to care, to protect. He sat up in his bunk aboard the frigate Aegis, staring at the dim glow of the control panel. The room felt suffocating, ordinary, and yet nothing about him was ordinary anymore. His body hummed faintly, almost imperceptibly, as if it carried a secret of its own. Lieutenant Mara Chen knocked softly on his door. Captain, you okay? She asked, her brow furrowed. Elias motioned for her to sit. I can't explain it, he said, voice low. But something happened with the Zetherian queen. I don't know how to describe it, but I think I fathered a child. Rian, who had followed Mara, choked back a laugh. Fathered a alien child? Captain, are you serious? Did the queen bite you or something? Elias shook his head. It wasn't physical, at least. Not in the way we understand. She connected to me, mind to mind. And whatever happened, it left a part of me in her and a part of her in me. Mara's eyes widened. You mean you're linked to it? The child? Yes, Elias whispered, rubbing his temples. And it's already aware. I can feel it. It's like it knows me, recognizes me. Ryan's laughter died in his throat. Captain, if this is true, you're not just a soldier anymore. You're part of something much bigger. Elias didn't respond. He had tried to report everything to the human command, but the officers had dismissed him. Stress, they said. Overexertion in an alien zone. None of them believed him, and for the first time, Elias felt the isolation of knowing something the entire human military ignored. The next day, the psychic connection intensified. The visions were clearer, showing him the Zetherian hive from above, its glowing chambers, the thousands of workers moving with precision, and the queen herself, sitting regally on her crystalline throne. She looked at him, eyes piercing through the distance. Elias felt a strange mixture of fear and reverence. He didn't understand what the queen expected of him, but he knew it was important. Suddenly, a small figure appeared at her side in his vision, tiny, fragile, and glowing faintly. The child. Even at this stage, it radiated life and intelligence, pulsing in time with the queen's thoughts. And then, as if sensing him, the child's tiny presence reached out, brushing against Elias's mind. Protect him. Help, the impression whispered. Elias stumbled back, breathing heavily. It's asking for me, he murmured. It needs me. Days passed. He found himself unable to eat properly or focus on anything but the visions. Each psychic message from the queen was like a gentle nudge, guiding him, teaching him, even warning him. She showed him the Zetherian way of life, how they built their hives, cared for their young, and defended their species. Elias began to understand that the Zetherians were not monsters, not mindless killers as humans often feared. They were a civilization with logic, purpose, and loyalty to their own kind. One night, while reviewing his reports for the 100th time, Elias heard a soft chime outside his quarters. A small Zetherian envoy had arrived. Not a warrior, but a scout. Translucent, elegant, and surprisingly humanoid in posture. "Captain Elias Hart?" the alien asked, its voice reverberating in his mind rather than in the air. "Yes," Elias said cautiously, standing. "Who sent you?" "The Queen," the envoy replied. "She wishes to speak directly." Elias felt a surge of fear and anticipation. "Now?" "Yes, she senses urgency. Time is limited." He followed the envoy to a secluded observation room. Through the viewport, the stars seemed ordinary, but Elias's mind raced. Then the psychic presence hit him, strong and commanding. The Queen was there, not physically, but her mind reached across space, enveloping him in warmth and clarity. "Elias Hart," she said, her voice both alien and familiar in his head. "You are linked to me, to our child. You must understand the bond that has been formed." I don't fully understand," Elias admitted. "It happened so fast. I didn't mean for this to happen." "You did not intend it," she replied, her tone softening. "Yet intention matters less than connection. Our child carries a part of you, and you carry a part of it. You are its guardian, its protector." Elias felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. Protector? But the humans will never understand. They'll see it as a threat, maybe even try to destroy it. The Queen's presence became urgent. "That is why you must act. Human fear will come. You must guide them. Prevent bloodshed. Protect the child. Only you can do this." Elias clenched his fists. "How? I'm just one soldier. I can't stand against a fleet." "You are not alone," she said. "You have your mind, your heart, your humanity. These are your weapons. Trust them." The connection faded slowly, leaving Elias trembling. For the first time, he realized the full magnitude of what had occurred. He had crossed the threshold into a new responsibility, not as a soldier, not as a commander, but as a bridge between two species. Over the following days, Elias continued to experience visions of the child growing, responding to him, and learning from the Queen. Its tiny consciousness seemed to mimic his own thoughts, curious about the world outside the hive. Elias spoke to it sometimes, silently in his mind, and received gentle responses in return. "Will they understand me?" he asked one evening. "Yes," the child answered, a faint glow in his mind. "You will teach them. They will see me, and us, as not enemies." Elias smiled, a small spark of hope igniting in the depths of his exhaustion. Perhaps there was a chance, not just for the child, but for humans and Zetherians alike. But his optimism was short-lived. Reports came in of increased human patrols near Zetherian territory. Fleets moved closer, ready to strike at any sign of threat. Elias realized the danger wasn't just theoretical. The humans would act first, ask questions later. And if they attacked the hive, the child could die. He knew he had to act. He requested a private meeting with his commanding officer, presenting the psychic readings, the visions, and the connection to the Zetherian Queen. But once again, he was met with skepticism. "Captain, we cannot base strategy on visions and telepathic nonsense," the officer said, clearly irritated. "Your duty is to gather intel, report, and obey orders. That's all." Elias's jaw tightened. "If you strike that hive, the child, and possibly the Queen, will die. And if that happens, you'll ignite a war with a species you don't understand." The officer's expression hardened. "Captain Hart, your warnings are noted, but we cannot act on imagination. This is the chain of command. End of discussion." Elias walked away, his mind racing. The military would never listen. He realized he had no choice. He would have to go rogue. If he didn't act, the child's life and the fragile chance for peace would be destroyed. That night, alone in his quarters, Elias made a decision. He would return to the Zetherian Queen, not as a soldier, not as a human representative, but as a protector of life. It was dangerous, possibly fatal, but the connection he shared with the child demanded it. He reached out, mentally, calling to the Queen. The psychic bond flared immediately, warm and urgent. "You have made your choice," she said, pride and relief mixing in her tone. The child will survive because of you. But beware, Elias Hart. The path you have chosen is not without danger. I understand, he replied. I will do whatever it takes. And so, with a plan forming in his mind, Elias began preparing. Supplies were gathered, navigational routes calculated, and escape options considered. He knew the human military would pursue him once he left, but he didn't care. The child's life, the future of two civilizations, and his own sense of duty demanded action. As the Aegis drifted silently through the void, Elias sat in his cabin, focusing on the tiny pulse of life inside his mind. It was fragile, but it was real, and for the first time he felt the full weight and wonder of what it meant to be human, to care, to protect, to rise above fear. Elias Hart smiled faintly. The mission had changed. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a guardian. Captain Elias Hart moved through the cramped corridors of the frigate Aegis, his steps quiet, precise. Every sound seemed louder than normal, the hum of the engines, the occasional creak of the hull, even the soft hiss of recycled air. He had packed only what he needed: navigation tools, a small energy pistol, rations, and a communication device he could hack if necessary. Everything else he left behind. Mara Chen and Ryan approached, their faces tense. Elias, are you sure about this? Mara asked. If you leave the frigate, we could be labeled deserters or worse. Elias nodded. I know the risks. But the child, the Queen, they need me. If the human fleet strikes the hive, it will be over. I can't sit here and do nothing. Ryan shook his head but didn't argue. You're insane, he muttered. But I get it. Let's just hope you survive. They reached the shuttle bay where a small vessel waited, its hull sleek and designed for stealth. Elias climbed aboard, feeling the familiar thrill of flight but tinged with fear. He wasn't just fleeing human authority. He was entering Zetherian territory alone, with nothing but instinct and determination to guide him. As the shuttle left the Aegis, alarms began to blare. Unauthorized shuttle launch detected, the ship's automated systems announced. Pursuit teams dispatched. Elias ignored it. The shuttle's engines flared, propelling him toward the distant star system where the Zetherian hive awaited. Every mile closer made his heart race faster. He could feel the child's presence growing stronger, pulsing in rhythm with his own heartbeat, as if urging him to hurry. Hours into the journey, he entered a dense asteroid field, a perfect cover from human patrols but treacherous in its own right. Rocks larger than buildings drifted lazily, yet one miscalculation could tear the shuttle apart. Elias navigated carefully, weaving between the massive stones. He could feel the psychic presence of the child, small but insistent, guiding him. Suddenly, a warning signal flashed across the control panel. Another shuttle was on an intercept course. Elias's pulse quickened. They're faster than I thought, he muttered, flipping switches to engage evasive maneuvers. The small craft twisted, dodging the pursuing vessel with precision. Every turn tested his nerves. One mistake could mean capture or death. Elias, you're pushing it too far, Ryan shouted from the co-pilot seat. We can't outrun them forever. I know, Elias replied, sweat forming on his brow. But we have to. The child, the Queen. I won't let them die. The pursuing shuttle fired a plasma pulse which grazed the hull. Sparks flew. Elias gritted his teeth, forcing the shuttle into a narrow corridor between two massive asteroids. The pursuing ship hesitated, unable to navigate the tight space. Elias took a deep breath, praying his luck would hold. Hours later, the shuttle exited the asteroid field, battered but intact. Before them stretched the Zetherian star system, glowing with colors unfamiliar to human eyes. The hive was visible in the distance, a massive crystalline structure, its surface pulsing with light as if breathing. The psychic connection with the child became almost overwhelming, tugging at his mind with insistence. We're close, Elias said quietly. The Queen will sense me. I have to be careful. If she doubts my intent. His voice trailed off. The thought was terrifying. The shuttle descended toward the planet, slipping past orbital patrols with careful maneuvers. Elias's heart pounded as he navigated through the upper atmosphere, the jungle-like surface of the planet unfolding below him. He landed in a clearing near the hive, the shuttle's engines stirring the strange, glowing foliage. Elias stepped out cautiously, scanning the area. Every sense screamed alert, every shadow seemed alive. Then he felt it, a sudden wave of psychic recognition. The Queen was aware of him. She was watching. Elias Hart. Her voice whispered in his mind, calm but commanding. You have come. The child waits, but so do dangers, I know, Elias replied. I am here to protect it. To protect you. The psychic presence intensified, guiding him deeper into the glowing jungle. The path was uneven, twisted with roots and crystal-like formations. Elias moved carefully, aware that the human fleet could still arrive, and that Zetherian defenders might mistake him for a threat. Hours passed, and the hive grew larger, more imposing. Finally, he reached the outer chambers, vast halls of bioluminescent crystal alive with movement. Zetherian workers and soldiers moved with precision, observing him without hostility. The child's presence pulsed stronger, almost impatient. Then, in a chamber of light, he saw her, the Queen. She stood tall, elegant, and terrifying. Her crystalline limbs shimmered, and her eyes glowed with intelligence and curiosity. But she did not attack. She simply observed him, her thoughts reaching into his mind, probing gently. You have returned, she said. The child is aware. It senses your intent, but humans do not yet understand your absence. They may pursue you. I know, Elias replied. I couldn't wait. They wouldn't listen. But I won't let them harm you, or the child. The Queen's presence softened, almost affectionate. Then you are worthy, Elias Hart. You understand what humans often forget. Life is precious no matter its form. You are human, yet capable of great understanding. Elias felt a surge of pride mixed with fear. It's growing, he said, his voice trembling. I can feel it. Learning. Responding to me. Yes, the Queen said. And it will continue to learn. You are its bridge to the other species. But remember, Elias Hart, there are forces beyond this chamber, humans, even Zetherians, who may not see the child as a bridge. They may see it as a threat. Elias swallowed hard. Then I'll fight them. I don't care. It's my responsibility. The Queen nodded. Good, then you are ready. But understand, Elias Hart, the child may carry powers beyond your imagination. It will need guidance. You must remain vigilant. As she spoke, a soft glow appeared near her, a tiny, radiant figure, the child. It pulsed with life, a mixture of human and Zetherian essence. The connection was instantaneous. Elias could feel its curiosity, its intelligence, and its trust. You recognize me, Elias whispered. The child responded with a gentle pulse, almost like a heartbeat that resonated within his mind. Suddenly, alarms echoed from the hive's perimeter. Elias tensed. The human fleet had arrived, and they were closing in fast. They are here, the Queen said calmly, yet her thoughts carried urgency. They will not understand unless you show them the truth. You must act quickly. Elias nodded. I will. I'll show them. The next hours were a blur of preparation. Elias studied the hive's defenses, learning to navigate the crystalline chambers, and formed a plan. If humans attacked, he would guide them, protect the child, and prevent bloodshed. He realized that brute force alone would not save the child. The key was understanding, communication, and courage. Finally, the moment came. Human scouts appeared in orbit, scanning for life signs. Elias activated the shuttle's stealth systems and flew toward them, transmitting a message to the fleet. This is Captain Elias Hart, he said. You are about to make a grave mistake. There is life here, a child part human, part Zetherian. It is not a threat. It is proof that we can coexist. Do not attack, Static answered him. Then, surprisingly, a voice came through. The fleet commander, cautious but willing to listen. Explain, Captain Hart, what are you talking about? Elias took a deep breath, psychic connection with the child guiding his words. This child, my child, though not fully human, is alive. It has intelligence. It has awareness. If you attack the hive, you will destroy a chance for peace between humans and Zetherians. There was silence. Then, slowly, the fleet commander responded. We will hold fire and for now. But, Captain, if this is a trick, there will be consequences. Elias exhaled, relief washing over him. It is no trick. I swear it. But you must trust me. And the child. The Queen's presence reached him, warm and approving. You have done well, Elias Hart, but this is only the beginning. Others may come, and not all will understand. Prepare yourself. Elias nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle firmly on his shoulders. He had crossed into a new role, protector, negotiator, guardian. And he was ready. Outside the hive, the stars glimmered as if watching. Elias knew the next steps would be even harder, facing human skepticism, Zetherian doubt, and the unknown challenges ahead. But for now, the child was safe, and he had taken the first step toward bridging two worlds. Captain Elias Hart stood at the edge of the Zetherian hive's central chamber, staring at the vast crystalline expanse before him. The Queen had summoned him to the inner sanctum, a place where the light from the hive's biocrystals reflected in every direction, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that made Elias feel both small and awestruck. "You have returned," the Queen said, her voice calm but carrying authority. "The child is safe, but threats linger, both from within and beyond the hive." Elias nodded. "I understand. The humans in orbit are cautious. They are willing to listen for now. But if they see the hive as a threat, it could end badly." The Queen's thoughts reached into his mind. "Then you must show them. You must be the bridge." He took a deep breath. "I will, I promise. But first I need to understand your people. I can't protect the child if I don't understand how your society works, how decisions are made." The Queen inclined her head. "Very well. Follow me." They walked together through the hive, Elias moving carefully over the polished crystalline surfaces. Zetherian workers scurried past, attending to their tasks with elegant precision. Some glanced at him curiously, but none attacked. It was clear that the Queen's influence extended through the hive, shaping its responses. "This is their way of life," the Queen explained. "Every Zetherian knows their role, their purpose. We protect our young, our Queen, and our hive. To outsiders it may seem strange, but it is efficient and unified. The child you share with me is a new beginning. It will be a bridge between your kind and mine." Elias studied the child, who hovered gently near the Queen, pulsing with light. Even at this stage, it radiated intelligence and awareness, reacting to him with small waves of psychic energy. He felt a surge of protectiveness, knowing that this fragile life depended entirely on his choices. "They will try to attack," Elias said softly. "Some humans will never understand." The Queen's voice was firm. "Then you must prepare, and you must unite my people as well. Not all will trust you, Elias Hart. Some see humans only as intruders." Before Elias could respond, alarms echoed through the hive. A group of Zetherian soldiers had arrived, their crystalline armor gleaming, their postures rigid. They formed a line, blocking access to the inner sanctum. "Captain Hart," one of them spoke in a sharp musical tone, "your presence here is unusual. Who are you to claim the child?" Elias felt the Queen's guidance calm him. "Speak with honesty, show your intent. Show that you protect, not threaten." "I am Elias Hart," he said steadily. "I am human, yes. But I am connected to this child. I did not intend to father it, but I am bound to it. I have come to protect it and to prevent war. I mean no harm to your hive, your people, or your Queen." The soldiers hesitated, exchanging glances. The Queen's thoughts washed over them, subtle but firm. "He is our ally. Trust him." Slowly, their stances relaxed and they stepped aside, allowing Elias to pass. The Queen's voice reached him again. "You have begun well. But now comes the harder part. The humans above will need more than words, they will need proof." Elias nodded. "I'll show them, but how? They'll see this hive as a fortress full of danger. How do I convince them that the child is a bridge, not a weapon?" The Queen extended a hand toward the child. "Let them see the child. Let them feel its presence. They will understand if they can open their minds." Elias approached the child slowly, careful not to startle it. He focused on the psychic connection, opening himself to its awareness. The child responded, pulsing brightly, sending small waves of warmth and intelligence into Elias's mind. He reached out, letting the same warmth radiate toward the human observers aboard the fleet. Back in orbit, human officers stared at their screens, confused. A pulse of energy emanated from the planet, reaching them, not threatening but soothing, intelligent. "What is that?" one officer whispered. Elias guided the pulse, extending his thoughts to the fleet commander. "It is alive. It is aware. It is proof that we can coexist." Slowly, the officers began to understand. Hesitation replaced aggression. Some even showed awe. The child was small, fragile, yet undeniably powerful in its presence. But the moment of calm did not last. A faction of Zetherians within the hive, distrustful of humans, began to stir unrest. They hissed and clicked among themselves, their crystalline forms vibrating with tension. Elias felt the Queen's worry, a silent warning. They questioned me, the Queen's voice whispered in his mind. Some fear humans. You must show them that your intent is true, otherwise you risk civil conflict. Elias straightened. Then I will prove it. I will protect both humans and Zytherians. He stepped forward, addressing the assembled Zytherians directly. I know you do not trust me, and I do not expect you to, but I am here to protect the child, to protect your queen and to prevent bloodshed. I am bound to this life and I will not fail it. For a long moment, silence. Then slowly, one of the older Zytherians stepped forward. Its crystalline body shimmered as it spoke. We will watch you, human. If you betray the child, there will be no forgiveness. I understand, Elias replied, and I welcome your scrutiny. But know this, I will do everything I can to prevent harm, to protect life. The faction of Zytherians murmured among themselves, uncertainty still in their tones, but their stance softened. Elias felt the Queen's approval ripple through his mind. You have begun the work of unity, but there is still danger. Meanwhile, the humans in orbit were growing impatient. Some officers still questioned the child's existence, calling Elias a liar or a fanatic. He knew diplomacy would not be enough. He needed a demonstration that could not be denied. He turned back to the Queen. We need proof. A way for them to see, to understand. The Queen extended her thoughts to him. Then show them the child's abilities, not for war but for life. Let them see what can be achieved when fear is set aside. Elias hesitated. You mean, display its power? Yes, the Queen replied. But carefully. They must see it as life, not weapon. He guided the child to hover before him, its tiny form glowing. Slowly, he focused his thoughts, allowing the child's energy to radiate outward. The hive itself seemed to respond. The walls of crystal shimmered, lights pulsing in rhythm with the child's presence. The humans in orbit watched in awe, seeing movement, intelligence, and beauty unlike anything they had ever imagined. This is incredible, one officer whispered. It's alive. And it's intelligent. Elias smiled faintly, feeling the child's pulse answering him in turn. They understand, he thought. They can see what I see. But not everyone was convinced. Some human officers still bristled, seeing the display as a potential threat. Elias knew he had only one chance to prevent escalation. I swear, he said aloud, voice carrying through the ship's comm systems. This child means life, not war. If we act in fear, we will destroy the future. But if we act in understanding, we can save both our species. A tense silence followed. Then slowly the fleet commander responded. Captain Hart, we will hold. No attack for now, but you must continue to guide us. Elias nodded, relief washing over him. It was not victory, but it was a beginning. A fragile alliance held together by trust, courage, and the child's innocent presence. The Queen's voice reached him one last time. You have done well. But remember, Elias Hart, this is only the beginning. Others will test your resolve. Some will try to destroy what you protect. Stay vigilant, stay true. I will, he replied. I promise. As the day ended, Elias sat near the child, feeling its small heartbeat resonate with his own. The future was uncertain, but for the first time he felt hope. Humans and Zytherians could coexist. Peace was possible, and the child, his child, was the symbol of that new beginning. Outside the hive, stars shone indifferently, but inside, light pulsed with life, intelligence, and possibility. Elias Hart had not only survived, he had begun to build a bridge between worlds. The Zytherian hive shimmered in the pale light of its planet's twin suns. Captain Elias Hart stood in the central chamber, watching the crystalline walls pulse gently with life. The child's presence was stronger now, vibrant and insistent, echoing through his mind like a heartbeat. Soon the child would be born, a symbol of the fragile alliance he had worked so hard to build. The past weeks had been a whirlwind. Elias had navigated the delicate politics of the hive, earning the cautious trust of skeptical Zytherians while holding the human fleet at bay. Each day had tested his courage, his understanding, and his humanity. And now the moment he had feared and hoped for had arrived. The Queen approached, her movements graceful, her crystal-like form gleaming in the soft light. Elias Hart, she said, her voice calm but urgent. The child is ready. Your connection has guided it to this moment. But understand, its birth will be unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is both life and energy, human and Zetherian. You must be prepared. Elias nodded, his heart pounding. I am ready. I will protect it no matter what. The chamber grew still, the ambient hum of the hive softening as if the entire structure were holding its breath. Elias reached out with his mind, feeling the child's presence, connecting with it in a way words could never describe. It pulsed with life, curiosity, and intelligence, sensing him as its protector, its bridge to the future. Then it happened. A wave of energy surged through the chamber. The child emerged, a small radiant figure shimmering with crystalline light that blended human warmth and Zetherian brilliance. Its eyes, bright and intelligent, met Elias's instantly. He could feel its thoughts, its emotions, its trust. You are here, Elias whispered, tears pricking his eyes. You're safe now. I promise, the child pulsed, acknowledging him. And then it reached out, tiny hands brushing against his mind, sending warmth and understanding in return. Elias felt a flood of emotion, pride, relief, love, and awe all at once. This was more than a child. This was a bridge between species, a living proof that two worlds could coexist. The queen observed silently, her presence powerful and serene. Elias Hart, you have done what many could not. You have shown both species the meaning of understanding. This child will carry that forward. But celebration was brief. Alarms blared from the outer chambers. The human fleet had become restless. Some officers were skeptical, believing Elias's warnings were a ploy or a trap. Others worried that the child could be dangerous, a weapon in disguise. Elias knew he had to act quickly. He turned to the queen. I need to show them. Proof. Not just words, but what the child truly is. The queen extended her thoughts. Then let it show. Not as a weapon, but as life. Let humans feel its presence. Elias guided the child's energy outward, sending waves of warmth and clarity toward the human observers in orbit. The fleet's monitors flickered as the energy reached them. Officers gasped, staring at readings they could not fully comprehend. The pulse was alive, intelligent, gentle, proof of life and sentience beyond their imagination. This is incredible, one officer whispered. It's not a threat. It's alive, aware. Elias smiled faintly. It's proof that coexistence is possible. That fear does not have to dictate our actions. The child represents a choice, a new path for both our species. The fleet commander's voice came through, cautious but clear. Captain Hart, we see it now. We will hold fire. But the child's safety is paramount. Any attack will be considered an act of war. Elias felt relief wash over him, but he knew the hardest part was yet to come. There were still those within the hive who distrusted humans. And there were still skeptics among his own people. Maintaining peace would require more than proof. It would require continued trust, diplomacy, and courage. The child, sensing the tension, reached out toward Elias. Its tiny presence pulsed gently, radiating reassurance. Elias knelt, letting the psychic bond flow freely. I will protect you. Always, he thought. The child responded with a bright pulse, almost like laughter, and Elias felt a spark of hope ignite within him. Days passed, and the child grew rapidly, not physically like a human infant, but in intelligence and awareness. It learned quickly, mimicking Elias's thoughts, understanding emotions, and even communicating subtly with the queen. Its presence softened tensions on both sides. Humans began to trust, seeing that it posed no threat. Zetherians began to respect Elias not just as a human, but as a guardian of life. Yet challenges remained. A rogue faction of Zetherians, distrustful of humans, plotted to challenge the alliance. Elias knew he had to act before violence erupted. He requested a meeting with the faction leaders in the hive, bringing the child with him. The leaders assembled in a vast chamber, crystalline pillars stretching overhead. Elias stepped forward, the child hovering gently near him. I know some of you doubt me, he began. I know some of you fear humans. But look at this child. It is proof that life can be shared, nurtured, and protected. It does not belong to one species. It belongs to both and to the future. Murmurs echoed through the chamber. The child pulsed softly, sending waves of warmth and understanding. Elias extended the connection, allowing the Zetherians to feel the child's thoughts, curiosity, intelligence, and trust. Slowly, tension melted, replaced by cautious acceptance. An elder Zetherian stepped forward, You have shown courage, human. And the child, it is as you say. We will watch and we will learn, Elias exhaled. One battle had been won, not with weapons but with understanding and trust. Meanwhile, humans in orbit were sending envoys to the planet. They had seen the child and their skepticism had turned to cautious curiosity. Elias met with them personally, guiding them to witness the child's gentle intelligence and the Queen's benevolence. Slowly, fear turned to hope. Weeks later, the child's first significant display of power occurred. A section of the hive needed repair, and Elias guided the child to interact with the crystalline structures. The child pulsed, channeling its energy to manipulate the crystals with precision, repairing the damage in minutes. Humans and Zetherians alike watched in awe. Life, intelligence, and technology working together harmoniously. This is remarkable, a human officer whispered. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. Elias smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility ease slightly. The child had become a symbol of unity, of potential, and of the extraordinary possibilities that could arise when humans acted with courage and empathy. The Queen approached Elias, her presence calm and proud. You have done more than protect a life. You have shaped the beginning of a new era. Humans and Zetherians may now see each other not as enemies but as partners. And it is because of you, Elias Hart. I only did what I had to, Elias replied. To protect life. To protect hope. The child pulsed gently, its awareness radiating through Elias's mind. We are safe. We will grow. Together. Elias knelt beside the child, feeling the warmth and intelligence flowing between them. It was a moment of profound peace, a reward for courage, understanding, and empathy. The future was still uncertain, filled with challenges and potential dangers. But for the first time, hope outweighed fear. Outside the hive, the twin suns rose over the crystalline landscape, scattering light across the jungle and the structures of the hive. Elias stood, watching the horizon, feeling the child's presence pulsing in harmony with his own. He knew the path ahead would not be easy. Skeptics would remain, conflicts could arise, but the first step had been taken, and that was enough to inspire change. Elias Hart, once a lone human soldier, had become more than that. He was a protector, a bridge, a guardian of life, and the child he had accidentally fathered would carry the legacy of understanding, courage, and unity for generations to come. In that moment, standing in the heart of an alien world surrounded by life he had sworn to protect, Elias understood what it truly meant to be human, not just to survive, but to rise, to protect, and to inspire. And as the child pulsed gently beside him, Elias knew that a new dawn had begun, not just for him, but for two civilizations intertwined by trust, courage, and the extraordinary bond of life itself. The stars outside the hive glimmered in quiet approval, and for the first time humanity and the universe seemed a little brighter.